Welcome to season 2 of On the Spot. At On the Spot, we discuss the issues.
Last week, I had the inspiring George Wyndham, who, in spite of the challenges life has thrown at him, continues to win. Now, even with his disability, he remains Sierra Leone's only most decorated athlete. Now, if you missed it, it was a powerful conversation which you can watch on our YouTube channel, On the Spot with Stella, where I also got to learn a trick or two in table tennis from George. Hopefully, I will one day be able to play him in a real match. But till then, I continue to wish him the best of luck. Now, if you find his story inspiring and would love to support him, please reach out to him through the contact details below. Tonight, as the conversation continues, my guest takes us through his journey of pain, dying, and now touching lives through his disability against all the odds.
John Suare is the third of 6 kids. His father never showed up. Sometime during the Civil War, rebels attacked his village and stabbed him on the shoulder with a bayonet, leaving him with only abrasive wounds, not much for John's mother to worry over. John was too young to remember anything. John's minor abrasion caused swelling on his shoulder, chest, and back. Sooner, his right biceps began to rot, causing huge damage to the arteries on that arm. The arm needed to be amputated to prevent festering muscles from spreading and ruining vital organs to cause his death. The only problem was that John was too young to survive such complicated surgical procedure. On 3 occasions, medical opinion predicted his lifespan to be no more than just a few hours. His mother gave him up. With very little means of livelihood, his mother managed to get them going, and John defied all odds to triumph his limitations. John did not only survive the surgery, he went on to graduate from Milton Margai College of Education, Science and Technology, and now works at the administrative wing of a call to business.
Welcome to the show, John. Thank you so much for joining me here on the spot.
You're welcome, my dear.
Yeah, you've got a really phenomenal story, and I mean, for viewers who are watching, they'll be wondering, wow, how were you able to go through that? And I'm just going to do a quick recap here. You spent about 9 years in the hospital. You underwent over 5 major operations. At some point in time, you were pronounced literally dead. Take us through on your story.
Yes, my name is John Suare. I came from a family background of 6 kids. At the age of 8 months, my father abandoned me. I can still count the number of times me and my father has met. We haven't yet met more than 20 times, you know. During the rebel war, rebel attacked our village, Medina, bombed the street. So I was stabbed with bonnet under the bed. Rebel attacked the village around under the bed. My mom was there. So the moment they stabbed me 3 times on my right hand side, my mom held my mouth not to shout. You know, the pain was there. Then the moment the rebel left, we went into the bush, and when we were in the bush for almost 7 to 8 months old, my body gets to rotting. I was swelled up. People start to drive my mom away because of my condition. You know, things was difficult for me. And when I was there, somebody walked up to my mom and said, "Why can't you take this boy to Matujan Hospital before he's dead here?" So my mom will find her way through the bush up to Matujan Hospital. The moment we reached Matujan Hospital, I was taken directly into the theater. Everything was removed from my up here up to this point. Everything was removed. Rotten. And because everything was rotten up.
Wow.
And the doctor that did the initial operation was Dr. Mark. Dr. Mark was the doctor that was assigned in Matujan Hospital by then. And we spent 4.5 years in Matujan Hospital, no money for mom to pay off my bills. So what the hospital management did was that my mom should make sure that do all the laundry to fit in my hospital bill. And my mom was trying to do other domestic work for other neighbors in order for us to eat. My mom is a very, very amazing woman, you know.
Wow.
And things was difficult in that point, and most of the time I don't want to too much think about my story because it's Even as I'm speaking to you, I can still feel the pain. You know.
Imagine. I can imagine.
Another operation was done during that period, and I was unable to hit the baby attack the hospital again. Back into the bush. We are also into the bush where my mom found her way to born to Freetown. The moment we were in Freetown back, my mom, somebody said, Dr. Mark is at Oba Center. Why can't you go there with this boy? So went to Oba Center, and my mom Dr. Boema had to transfer back to Connaught Hospital to Dr. Boema. So Dr. Mark transfers to Dr. Miles, Connaught Hospital. Connaught Hospital, we are admitted there also for under 3.5 years. So to total 9 years completely. 9 years. Yes.
Wow, and going through series of operations.
Series of operations. And attempted to amputate to cut the hand more than 3 times.
More than 3 times.
I was pronounced dead 1 time.
And what happened? Because from your story, you literally came back alive.
Yeah.
Because the doctors had already asked that they go to the mortuary and bring the cat to.
Yes, yeah. There was some point that I was taken to the hospital, to the theater, right after my mom has already signed up the document to amputate the hand. When I went to the hospital, there was a big debate here. Which part of the hand can we cut off? Because cutting from this point to this point, as you can see, it's so small. Yeah. Up to now, no flesh.
Wow.
Up to now, no flesh. You see, up to now, no flesh. So we cannot amputate the boy's hand from this elbow. No, because that is not where the major problem lies. The major problem lies here.
From here.
So we have to amputate this out to remove the whole hands off. If we remove this whole hands off, this boy cannot be able to live. Big debate between Dr. Boema and Dr. Bayo by then, Connaught Hospital. So that period, they bring another person who was more worse than me. So they said, okay, let's take this boy back. 2 days, situation got worse. So Dr. Boema was standing on my bed and saying, this boy is dead. My chat was closed up and drew upon my bed, So they instructed somebody to go to the mortuary to bring a stretcher so that they can take me to the mortuary because I was dead. Say by then, the miracle happened between the period the person left the world to the mortuary. Coming back, I was back.
Wow.
And after a few days, doctor asked me, how you doing? How you manage doing?
Wow. That's a really, going through that as a child and all through that period, your arm was literally dead, no movement, you couldn't use it. What was it like for you and your family? Because at some point in time, you had to stay in an orphanage.
Yes, and life was difficult still at that moment,
And to cut you, sorry to cut you off there, all the 9 years you were in the hospital, you didn't go to school. You were confined to the bed.
Yeah. I didn't go to school. I always spent 3 years in primary school when I was in Connaught Hospital because the number of time and the usage. Yeah. So the nurse ladies that was coming in, they was buying books, taking me classes in my bed, in the evening.
The hospital.
Yeah, in the hospital. So I can say that most of my primary teaching was hospital teaching in the hospital. So when the rebel attack, I was also still admitted when the rebel attack Freetown. The rebel attack Freetown, we were also moved out of the hospital, back into the community.
Wow.
And my mom had to make sure take me back. And you have to take me back into the community. Period of time, we want to check back the other kids in the village. So you have to drop me at John Bosco. I spent something like 1.5 years in John Bosco. Yeah.
Wow. Your story is amazing, and with all those challenges and the struggles, you still made something out of yourself. You went on to the university. You've got an amazing family. You have a job. We'll come later, and we're going to talk about that. This is On the Spot. Continue to watch to hear more of John's amazing story. This is On the Spot. We'll be back.
Domestic revenue mobilization is a key instrument for the government of Sierra Leone in reducing poverty, increasing financial independence, achieving middle income status, and charting the path for new directions. From supporting the free quality education, good roads, healthcare, electricity, and more.
Domestic revenue mobilization is very critical when it comes to national development.
Through the Asikoda World, we have developed beautiful management tools. We have also developed systems in which It will bring transparency and help to the importer, to the broker.
iTax is a platform for all your domestic taxes. The electronic cash register system is the game changer.
Let's support government by paying our taxes. For more information, visit the nearest NRA office or log on to our website www.nra.gov.sl.
Welcome back. This is On the Spot for those of you just tuning in. This is Against the Odds, and I have with me John Sware, who cheated death, and in spite of all the challenges, has just been able to do such amazing things. John, going through all that and now becoming, living with a disability, unfortunately, because during those periods, you couldn't use your arm. It was literally dead. Somehow, you went in to go on to the university. You got a life. You had a family. Take us through, because it wasn't a walk in the park. There must have been trying moments. How were you able to overcome that and basically make something for yourself?
I was reading a book by Lesbian. I come across a phrase that has been serving as a motivation to me, which said that life is a fight for territory.
Yeah.
And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically overtake.
Yeah.
And the moment I was back from the dead, you just said that I cheated dead, right?
You cheated dead?
Yes. But my hand was dead. I said, if I can cheat dead, you cannot be part of me and you are dead. So guess what? I went to Connaught Hospital. Dr. Bema said, why can't you start to hold tennis ball and try to quiz it with your hand? By doing that, you can also give your hand life. And I'll do that continuously. Now, this hand is alive.
Wow.
This hand has more power than even this one that there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. There's things that this hand can do, this one cannot do, So I have to make sure that I fight for that territory.
Yeah.
Failing to fight for what I don't want in my life as a dead hand should have been part of me.
But here's the thing, because when you were at the orphanage, your peers wanted to use you to go on the streets to beg, but it was a conscious effort that you were not going to. This was not what you were going to do with your life. You didn't plan that for your life. How were you able to move beyond your disability? Because clearly, obviously, there would have been stigma and people looking down at you and looking at you in such a way. How were you able to make something out of it?
When I was in John Bosco, let me just give you a brief story about John Bosco. When I was in John Bosco, staying in John Bosco for almost 1.5 years, my connection to my colleague was the best opportunity for them to get whatever they want.
Yeah.
Even when we were in John Bosco, when people go to do something, to give us something, we are in the forefront. Because now people see us, they have more sympathy to give whatever they came with, and more than what they want to give, So boys in the orphanage want to use me as an opportunity to go out to beg. Because in John Bosco, when we were in John Bosco, in the evening you see all kind of different boys come to sleep. In the morning hours after we are taking a tea, everybody have to go to the street to find. In the evening again, the afternoon when they cook, everybody come and eat. That's how it was operating. I don't know if that's the same way it's still operating. So the boys tell me that let's go and beg. I say, no, I can't. So once, 2, 3 times, I say I can't. So the fifth time, they have to hold my active hand and just remove a nice crepe that my mom bought for me. They took that crepe away and sell it. And that was how I left the orphanage.
There. So how did you then end up going to the university?
When I left the orphanage, I went to one of my aunts, amazing woman. I call her my grandmom. She's now late, Mrs. Teresa Kuma. She was the Deputy Minister of Trade by then. Wow. I stayed here, everything. The person that you are seeing, the foundation was from that home. That was the home that I started to believe that I'm not disabled. That was the home that I was really, really accepted as a child. Yeah. By then, my mom, she was now staying in the village with
take care of your other siblings.
I was troublesome. Very, very troublesome. Primary school, things I always spent 3 years in primary school. No friend. Go to school. I attended Baptist primary school, Regent Road. Go to the school because it was long sleeve and I don't want people to provoke me. I was afraid of provocation. I have to make sure my sleeve always
come down.
So you cannot take notice of me. I keep my hand, I hide my hand. So when I went to Prince of Wales, sit MPSC, went to Prince of Wales, when I went to Prince of Wales, from one no friend, from two, a guy started to provoke me, you know. Then one of my colleagues just pushed me into a fight. I won the fight. The moment I won the fight, the whole class lifted me up.
Was that like the turning point?
That was the
for
turning
you?
point for me to make sure
To
that
stand for yourself.
Yes, it was a turning point for me that I can be accepted.
Yeah.
By seeing me, I've already put myself down. But seeing me
Yeah.
and other colleagues lifting me up, say, yeah, John, I've won the fight, you know. So whenever colleagues have to trigger other guys into a fight, so I keep on winning those fights.
Yeah.
That was how I become famous in Prince of Wales. I was called Zion Cole.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know?
eventually you went on, you've made something out of your life, and during all those periods, actually, before we get to that point, how did you get to meet your wife? Because you have a beautiful wife, and in spite of the challenges, you know, a lot of people would have said, I don't think I would find love because of my condition, but yours is different.
And they said a whole life is like a dish in a plate.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? The person I'm going to eat those dish is also you.
Yeah.
If you want to eat the sauce before the actual rice, at the end of the day, you end up with a tasteless mouth, you know. I place myself properly in a dish. I start to add value myself.
Yeah.
Start to add value myself. The moment I met my wife, 1 week, I was hiding my hands. Second week, I call her into a meeting. I want to expose something to you, and I hope you can accept me. But if not, just let me know so that we can be in this relationship. If it's not fit, it can work out. Then my wife said, I know what you want to discuss. I've already seen your hand.
Wow.
And the moment, and I said, then why you still love me? He said, I don't love you because you are human. I don't love you because you are handsome. I don't love you because you are John. But I love you because I know that you have a very good heart.
Oh, wow.
That just build the confidence in me that this is the person I'm going to spend life with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because before my wife, I was having some friends. When they discover that this is me, they have to go.
They leave you.
And since then, miracle has started happening.
And that miracle transformed into, you know, you have a job. I still wonder, how were you able to just make this all happen? Getting a job, going to the university, getting an amazing, you've got a beautiful family, 2 kids.
Yeah. Lindsay and Quentin.
Exactly. I mean, if you look around Freetown, you know, the capital city, you look around and you see a lot of disabled people or people living with a challenge, and it's like they've given up.
And that's why I want to make sure that we develop something, you know. I discover myself not because of the kind of people that I met, not because of the home I came from.
Yeah.
In fact, in my background, there's nothing like a home. I never wake up and say, good morning, daddy, you know.
Yeah.
90% of people that help me, today I want to help them back, but I cannot be able to meet them on the way because they don't know me. They were just having sympathy for me to help me. You know, but when I left the Mitimagai College, I was doing internship in Call to Business, which I've already spent something like 9 years. You know, an amazing man that helped me to discover myself, who is me, and why I am here, and why all of these things happened to me. It was a purpose. That was Joe Abbas Bangura, Pastor Joe Abbas Bangura, amazing man. You know, Joe Abbas Bangura, Call to Business have a culture. The moment in the morning, you have to make sure that there's a devotion. In that devotion, that is where Pastor Abbas practice, preach everything in there. You know,
Wow.
to people, it was part of the job. To me, it was not part of the job. It was a school for me to discover myself. And the moment I discover myself, whenever Pastor Abbas said, I have read this book, I go in short of that book
And you read it. So a lot of the transformation that you underwent was as a result of conscious personal development. You took conscious step to develop yourself.
I have PhD in personal development for myself.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. And this is going out especially to a lot of people who just feel that, you know, the whole aim is just to go to the university and come out with a paper. It is what it is. It's just a piece of paper. But, you know, you will never go far until, I like to say, until you go through the school of hard knocks, until you go through the school of life. And you have to make conscious effort to develop yourself personally. John, continue to stay with me. Thank you so much. This is On the Spot. We'll take another break. We'll be back with more of his story.
Setting up a business can be a headache. Finding office space, buying furniture, printers and photocopiers. But if you're not ready for all that, BSI can help. BSI provides furnished and serviced office spaces for the short or medium term, whether it's for a day meeting, a conference or an immediate office rental for a few months. There are no long-term cost commitments and the offices are fully equipped with all your office needs. Or we can simply provide you with a prestigious business address thanks to one of our virtual offices. Find out more about BSI, your office away from the office. Go to bsisl.com or call 076 242 328.
All right, welcome back. For those of you just tuning in, it is it's against the odds. And my guest just sort of embodies that. John, you've come this far. And, from your story, I've read a lot about you. And I remember when I interviewed you, the first time I interviewed you, and I was blown away by your story. And I was like, I have to have him on my show. And what really stood out for me is the fact that you've been through those dark moments in your life, and you've not used it as an excuse to limit yourself, but you have gone beyond. And most importantly, you are, as much as you can, trying to pull many more people out of the situation that you've been through. Take us through on that journey.
Out of all of the things I went through, it was also to me as a school of thought, Staying in the hospital, dealing with all kind of pain. I thought at the end of the day, recently I told you the last time that, pain is just a chemical reaction in our brain. There is nothing like pain.
Yeah.
I can have an injection, needle now. I say, I want to give you an injection. I said, but close your eye. The moment my finger touch you will feel the same pain in your brain as if the needle is entering into your body.
Yeah.
So it's a chemical reaction. Since an orphanage home opened my eyes to see a lot of things that's happening in there. So at the end of the day, when I finish school, have a job, get married, but before all of these things, the things have been happening slowly. When I was going to school, if I have cloth, I can go to the orphanage again to donate some. If I have food, I can go to the hospital to give some of my colleagues, because I've already left some friends in there, and some people already stay there by then. So when I started work, I started to look for other orphanage homes, visit them, share my story with them, because when I was staying in an orphanage, most of it are not what we want that we get. People give us food, toys to play, but that is not the major things that children in orphanage are crying for. They are crying for passion, compassion, connection, churching. When people want to give us something, there's always a bridge. When you are staying in an orphanage, they give us with a stretch of hand. That each hold this part, let me hold this part. But because they are giving you that kind of, they don't want you to touch them.
Come closer.
So now, when I go to orphanage home, I share my story with them. I tell them that I've also been in an orphanage home. I know exactly what you are feeling. In fact, to some point, some of them will start to have sympathy for me. So that being the bridge, and we can sit together, eat in the same plate, no matter your condition, because I know where I'm coming from. No matter your condition, we can eat in the same place, bring the hope in the life of the children. So I share my story with individuals like you, friends, that before you have a body that you donate to, just call a friend of yours, same class.
Yeah.
Why can't you go to some home, orphanage home, so you're home, and donate your body there? We'll go there and spend time there.
Wow.
So I have been doing that one for the past years. So the goal and mission become bigger. So then we form an organization called Forum for People with Disability. Forum for People with Disability serves as a mediator between donor to reach direct beneficiary for orphans, disabled, and abused children. Because I find my story in these three categories, and one of the major things we focus on, for children with disability, we go to homes, we make sure that we solve the problem they are facing. There are many people who have orphanage home, charitable organization, having children. The major thing they write projects about is their personal need, not the need of children.
Not the children, absolutely. A lot of the money goes into operational costs.
You understand? Yes.
Yeah.
So you see, so now when a Forum for People with Disability, so no, If you are running a home, we can only have permission from you. But we share our story. Why we are sharing our story in the first place? To make sure that what we are saying to the children, we are also part of their story. Because we are still living with the pain. As you can see my hand is still big. I'm still living with this pain. I haven't yet overcome it. Doctor told my mom that, the moment he said that this boy said that he's sick, he will die at any time. So whenever I say he's sick, always come closer to him. But I said, no, I'm going to live more than 100 years. No matter what's happening. So when we go to homes, we share our story with children so that they can open to us to tell us exactly what's wrong with them and what they need. We give them the ability to make a choice in their lives. So by giving them the ability to make a choice in their life, we implement exactly what they want. And we just don't come again to donate to those that want in the home. We come again. If your name is Musu and Musu said, I want slippers, blue slippers, I want pink pants, we make sure that we buy those pink pants and blue slippers and give Musu.
Yeah.
By having Musu those things that he really desire, she also giving her the opportunity to make choice in her own life.
Wonderful.
And we have been creating and transforming massive life.
And this has been operational for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
So it's been mainly funded by yourself,
myself, my family, and very close friends.
Yeah.
And up to now, we are still craving for collaboration with other organizations in partnership because the nation is getting run. Mind you, Lola, the 25th of December 2020, you interviewed me. I was running a campaign called December to Remember. I want to buy 1,000 crutches for disabled children in the 8 districts. That campaign, I don't know, because it was December after the corona, everybody want to relate himself. There was not much success in it. Our target was $15,000. We were never able to raise even up to $1,000. But we buy some crutches in which they are still in the storehouse. We cannot able to donate that one now. But we are still hoping and praying that people can come on board. So we can
well, for those people who are watching and you want to be a part of this story, you want to change as much lives as you can, or as many lives as you can, please go on, the contact details are there. Reach out to John and help change the life of someone out there. So we will definitely have your contact details so people can reach out and call you. But for individuals, take for example, like myself, I decide, okay, come August, I want to celebrate my birthday in a special way. And I want to spend it with the kids. How do I go about it?
The moment you said I want to celebrate your birthday, for transparency's sake, I have to take it to more than 2 to 3 homes, And you, at the end of the day, when you go to this home, you see the lives of the children in some of these homes. You have to choose. I want to celebrate my birthday there. Then I said, okay, now let's have some play around with the children. Ask them what they want. Because the fact is fact. Children eat in that home on a daily basis. So don't cook again and take food here. They will eat and smile. But guess what? You haven't yet changed lives.
You haven't done anything.
I can bet you now you can buy sweets for one child, and even at that child live up to 100 years, you can remember that. So you know why the moment you present the sweet home and the impact the sweet creates in the life. So whatever things we are doing, want to make sure that we develop what we call sustainability impactions in the lives of children.
Wow, wonderful. Quickly before I let you go, if you had another option, if you could turn back the hand of time and if you could change anything about your life, would you change the experience you went through?
No, in fact, I'm grateful for it. I don't think there's anything to change, because in fact, I'm grateful. I'm still looking for the guys that stabbed me, not in terms of prevention. It's like in time to shake his hands and also to tap him on his back, Like I just said, if you go back into Bible story, Joseph was sold by his brother in order for him to become prime minister in Egypt, a land that he never knew about, Everything that's happening to me was happening to me for this cause, the current cause for people with disability. I stay in orphanage home, for me, so that when I'm running for people with disability, I know exactly where to focus on and what to do. When somebody is talking to me about pain, I can explain to him what his really pain is. To some point, they will cut some part of my flesh when I was still alive, not under any kind of medical sleep, you know.
No anesthetic.
Exactly, you know.
And you would want to go through all
yeah,
that
so you see,
all over
place.
again.
You will shout. To some point in your shout, you have to close your mouth and just look at them. At the end, they will start cutting. You will not even feel anything again. So you see, so I never regret anything. I never regret why my father abandoned me at the age of 8 months old. Now I have the reason why I don't need to abandon my children. Yeah. You know, everything happened in our life for a reason. But guess what? People go back to correct the time because they fail to learn for what they are going through. Wow. I continue to love my wife so much because I never wake up with my mom in a home where there's a man. So whenever I look at my wife, I say, Mom, I love you so much. I continue to appreciate people with disability because I know exactly what it means. That you want to belong to the majority part of society, but the society itself is rejecting you. So there's nothing about my life I'm regretful of. I have 2 wonderful children. Quentin is 2 years, 3 months, and Lindsay is 10 months old. You know, when I look at the faces of my children, I smile, I say, you know, to some people I'm disabled, but to my children, I'm able. Yeah. The very first time I start to remove my clothes because my children are now coming up, I don't want them to grow up at the end of the year to see this. And now when I'm home, I have to remove my clothes. I stop. Quentin look at me, Daddy, this. I say, yes, Quentin. For now, you will not understand. But as you get along, I have to share my story with you. Lindsay will look at my hand and you want to bite the same. And I say, no, Lindsay, you don't have to do that. Wow. You know, it's all part of the story. You know, I'm grateful for it. Wow. And I'm now happy to share my story with you today. Do you know why? Because there are some 1,000 people watching us right now, living, maybe just because a guy say, I don't want you again. Or maybe just because family members say, your teeth is bent, don't smile. Or maybe just because they don't have a very good mouth, they say, don't speak in this meeting. You know, they want to go and they say, they want to destroy themselves. Let my story serve as a medicine to their soul and a healing to their body. Wow. Because if I can make it, every human being can make it in this world. Mind you, just like we say, we cheated, we have already cheated life.
I know, you cheated there. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate having you here. Your story is really touching. It's really inspiring. And I really hope that viewers are as inspired as I am, because against all the odds, you really have shown us that if we think it, we can do it in spite of the challenges. But most importantly, we go through certain things in life for a certain reason, to prepare us for a day that will come. And we do not know the day or the hour. So thank you so much, John.
Welcome.
I appreciate you. And I look forward to having my next birthday with the Forum for people with disability. So I'm looking forward to it.
I want people to come on board. I want people to be part of the mission.
Definitely. So please come on board, support the initiative. Contact details are all below. This is On the Spot. Thank you so much once again, John. I'm going to be running quickly to my next guest, whose story is equally as phenomenal as John. On this episode, we're going to be telling you that against all odds, you can do it if you put your heart to it. This is On the Spot. We'll be back.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Abu. I am calling for your rental tax payment.
Oh my goodness.
Hello? This is a call from the...
Your colleague is on the other line. Can you just please hold?
You are a landlord or property agent? You don't hear about rental income tax? As property owner or agent where they collect rent, the law say you for pay tax and you tax identification number where they call team you they use for pay am.
Yes, me fumble them. The law say without this tax identification number, you not go able to pay your tax. And if you not pay your tax, the law go bet you tranga one. Welcome, sir. Please sit.
Thank you.
We don't make them easy for you now. The law say, since you the collect rent we pass 7.2 million loans, you for come to NIA and pay your rental tax just after we tenants don't pay you down.
So no more calls from everywhere.
You go just get one SMS or one phone call. We go remind you, sir.
Thank you very much.
For no more, go na any any NIA office near you or visit www.nia.gov.sl.
Remember, paying taxes is required by law.
Yes, today na Tuesday, the 4th of April 2017, and now I would like to say good morning and welcome to the second edition of the program Inside the Region, where they come to you from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation with me, Monica Yenikalua.
Welcome to the show, Monica. It's great to have you here on the show, on the spot.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Right. So your story is quite unique. You weren't born blind, but here you are today, a blind, accomplished journalist. First of all, how were you able to come to terms to reality about your condition and be able to accept it and live with it?
All right, you said it. I was able to cope with the situation I am now because at first I had to accept and say, okay, Monica, this is you. I wasn't born blind like you rightly said. I lost my sight shortly after I sat the WAS in 2011, and I lost my sight in 2012. So it wasn't easy. We tried all we could, my mom and I, humanly possible, for me to regain my sight. We visited all the medical hospitals within Sierra Leone. It couldn't work. All they were giving me was eye drop, and they were saying this eye drop will not salvage the situation. It is just there to maintain the pressure, because losing my sight, medically they said it is glaucoma, that is pressure on the eye that affects the optic nerve, that is the back of the eye. So they said the treatment is not going to reverse it. So having said, we did everything we could. Yes, I'm a Christian. We're going to church because in Africa, to be specific, and Sierra Leone, where I find myself, people have this stereotype thinking. Coming up and having a challenge or a disability, they will associate it with spiritual attack and everything. There are times people even say that they do it because of man. I had all these odds and I had to wave it away and said, okay, let me accept my situation and see how I can put a smile on the face of my poor mother, because she's all I got. My dad is late, from family of two. I have my brother, my elder brother. My mom was so helpless and she was hopeless, thinking that all her efforts of raising me up in order for me to achieve has gone in vain, and this is the result. I'm completely blind, nothing will come out of me. So she was really hopeless and thinking that all is lost. So all I could do was for me to put a smile on her face back.
And in doing that,
yes.
you today you're a journalist.
Yes.
How did that happen? Where did you wake up and say, I want to be a journalist?
I didn't wake up just a morning, so I want to be a blind journalist. Journalism has been my passion since I was coming up, because even when I was sighted, they were taking me to radio station, having this children's program. That was then I developed the passion for journalism. So losing my sight, I was like, oh, my dream of becoming a journalist is gone. Everything just go down the drain. And I met with a friend. He's also blind. He has his organization in Bo, Abubakar Kamara, called Hope for the Blind. I must be grateful to him. He asked me, Monica, what has been your passion? Can you go and do this? I said no. To start with, I'm a stammerer. That is why I talk too fast. And because of that, I have short temper. Me being a teacher, I said, I would just beat one killer. Just imagine I'm teaching and the student will just walk out of the classroom slowly, thinking that because I can't see her. I said, I will just beat her. I said, so that is not my passion. I said, journalism has been my passion. And he said, if you believe in yourself, you can do it. How am I going to do it? My mom was paying for my brother at Jalai University. She's a teacher. She can't afford to pay for the two of us university fee. So I went to the proprietor of Every Nation College in Bo. I went to his wife, Reverend Mrs. Santa Johnson. I must be grateful to them. She didn't know me and we've never met. I just went to her office, explained my story to her. And she said, Monica, how are you going to assure me that giving you a scholarship, you're going to make? I said, just pay for me for the first semester. Having 1 year reference, discontinue your scholarship. So I made that promise and I had to work towards the promise. Went to Every Nation College, did my studies, diploma in mass communication and journalism for 2 years. It was a whole journey. It was a challenging journey going to a university. The only blind student there, the compound is not friendly. You know, it was not really easy, but I had to endeavor because I knew what I want. I was fighting for something. I was fighting to make myself relevant in society, and as well as putting a smile on the face of my mom. So I had to go through all those challenges. At the end, I graduated and I was sent to SLBC Bow on internship. That was where people started knowing that we have the first female blind journalist in
First
Sierra
female
Leone.
blind journalist. That's a huge title there. But the question now, you know, going through that college and learning to become a journalist, like you've mentioned, it wasn't disability friendly. How were you able to study?
Okay, quite interesting. I didn't learn Braille because I lost my sight at age 18. So I didn't went to any blind school. So going to college, I had my recorder. I make friends. Especially, I identify a particular guy that was so committed. He always goes for lectures and everything. So we were friends. During lectures, I would put on my recorder when the lecturer is explaining the notes, and after which my friend will also record the notes for me. It was really difficult. You can't believe I had to listen to those notes word by word, even if it's 8 or 9 pages of pamphlets. I have to memorize everything in my head for the exam. You know, it's like telling the brain, you have to install this, because the brain was my sight. I couldn't see with my eyes, so the brain was my sight. So I had to memorize every note. I did 12, 13 modules in when I was doing my studies. So I have to memorize almost all the notes in my recorder for the exam. During the exam, we used typewriter because we at that time I couldn't afford a laptop computer, so I have to use typewriter to type. That was also frustrating. There are times when I'm writing my exam, I'll fix my paper, my carbon paper. You know, I've studied. I'll just be there typing, thinking I'm writing something after the whole thing, and I will call it, yes, sir, I'm through. They come and watch and say, hey, Monica, nothing shows up. You know, I just have to burst into tears, and you have to redo it again. It was really frustrating, but I have to go through all that because I was aiming at something. I wanted to achieve something, and yes.
And from there you went into doing an internship at SLBC Bow.
Yes.
Bow. So tell me about that briefly, the internship, how work was for you as a journalist.
It was also challenging. First, we had an orientation. The manager said, well, this is my first time to work with someone in your situation, so we're gonna learn from you, you're gonna learn from us. So I was there. Luckily for me, I met with a mentor there, Mr. Kevin Lando. He was working for BBC Media Action. He was there as a mentor. So after a production meeting, all the workers of the SLBC will go out in charge of news, and I'll be at the office. So one day I went to the manager and said, manager, you see Monica, you're keeping indoors. She's smart, she's intelligent, she's brilliant. He said, I want you to try Monica. He said, I've been with Monica since she came to SLBC. I've been mentoring her. I know she can deliver. I want you to just test Monica and see what she can do. Okay, so the manager, he obeyed, and one day after my final internship, as usual, they have to give us a trial because we have to do something to show that when you went there, you learned something. And my task was to produce the flagship program of the SLBC in Bow. You know, that is the program they hardly give to just an intern. So that was my task, and I did it well. I did it according to my manager. He said I did it perfectly. So he was so impressed, and he said, Monica, your internship ends today, but you're going to continue to work with us because I was so impressed. I was impressed with your output and everything. So you're going to stay with us. We're not going to pay you, but we want you to learn, want to expose you more. That was then BBC Media Action picked me up, and they did a documentary on me, being the first female visually impaired journalist in
Sierra Leone.
Yes.
Now, that's not the only thing you got involved in. That, of course, a lot of people would question if you could actually make it. But that will be coming back to right after the break. This is On the Spot. Welcome back to On the Spot. I have with me Monica Yeli Galiwa. And of course, we all know her. She is just sharing a little bit of her story with us. Now, you went on to participate in the Housemates Sierra Leone. A lot of people thought it was impossible. How did you think it was possible?
Okay, since I've joined the world of disability, I look at myself and say I got blind for a purpose, because we did all we could, but since God said this is not the time for you to regain your sight, I said God has a purpose for me. God wants to use my story, my voice to inspire others. So I've been advocating for inclusion. Went to McKinney, I was working in McKinney. That has been my job. So I was listening to AYV when the advert was aired for the Big Brother at first, Housemates Sierra Leone, and it was Mr. Lako. They were interviewing, and he said, want the program to be inclusive, because that was my question I wanted to ask, because they opened a phone line. Want the program to be inclusive, want people with disabilities to participate, we crying for inclusion and everything. I said, okay, fine. I want to see if they are going to do what they're saying. I'm going to buy a form. It all started as if I was dreaming. I went and bought the form. I filled the form, and I went for the audition. I was not even confident. I was not even having confidence in myself. I was thinking about, don't get for take me, don't get for go waste me time. But me going there, and one question I always have been asking myself before the audition, because I've been listening to the previous audition, what is so different about you from the other participants? Yes. What would be your talent? Monica said, I said, I don't know how to sing, I don't know how to dance. So what would be my talent? What am I going to say? But going out for the audition, God made it so easy. I told him that I can't sing, I can't dance. But what I have in me is my God-given talent. I want to change the narrative about persons with disability. People just think as soon as you're disabled, you can participate in social program. It's really here we find ourselves, they say blind person go to club, they will say, you know, sorry for yourself, you don't come club. What is wrong with that person going to club? Is the person not human being? They see someone in a wheelchair going to a club, they say, well, come on before we know, sorry for yourself, you can't club. But what is wrong with the person going to a club? I said I want to change that narrative. We want to live a normal life despite our disability. That was my inspiration. That was what inspired me to participate in the Housemates.
And you went on to clinch the second spot. How did that feel for you that day on the stage? Did you expect it?
Honestly, no. When we went to the house, my colleague, 22 of us, 21 of them, looking at them, these are faces. These people have names. You talk of the Enid, the Dillies, the Mauzi, the Maka. These are faces, you know, the SSK. I was like, what am I doing here? I'll just go out the first eviction. When I was up for the first eviction, I cried as if my mom was dead. I was like, hey, they can't pull me. But one thing that kept ringing my ears that it's not for the money. Even when I was campaigning, I told people, don't vote for me because you think I am blind, because you want me to win the 100 million. No, vote for me to give me the platform. I want to use the platform to change people's narrative. I want to use the platform to increase awareness that we are disabled, but again, we are differently able. Despite our disability, we have talent that people that are able can't do. So that is what I was trying to preach. On the stage, on that fateful day, April 14, Dillis and Shiabu, they were evicted, and I was left with Kenchi. Kenchi looked at me and said, Monica, if now you win self a number, I said, Kenchi, no, it's not about the 100 million. I am grateful to God because I am here today. I've come this far. It's not about the money. It's about me having a platform. Even if there was no prize for this first runner up, I am grateful for me having a platform that I will use to make more impact in the life of my colleague disabled.
Now, you've gone on to start an organization, and the organization is called Inspiration for Human Development. What's this organization all about, and how do you support other disabled people?
Okay, I've just established my organization. The name Inspiration is me, myself, because I always say to people, if Monica did not inspire you, then I wonder who else. Because my life, my story of course, my story is very inspiring. So not only my colleague disabled, but to someone that is not disabled. You can think if Monica in her situation, she was not born blind, but she had to fight going through blindness and everything. She is who who she is today, who am I can see. So that was where I got the name inspiration. And human development, all of us want to be developed in life. And my inspiration is there to advocate for inclusion and to also train my colleagues disabled, sexual reproductive health, family planning, and everything. Because Sierra Leone, like I say, I really want to change this mentality. I will be engaging different stakeholders, different ministries, department and agency. Because if they see a disabled lady, she is pregnant, they will say, no, sorry for instance, her condition unborn, but she has the right to give birth. Because of the way they think. They just think since we are disabled, our emotions are disabled. It is not true. Our emotions are not disabled. The only thing, we just need to be careful the kind of people that comes around us.
So what sort of support then do you give to these disabled people?
All right. One, because my organization is just a baby, we just clipping. One, shortly in January, I'll be having my first training on sexual, reproductive, and personal hygiene in January, where I'll be targeting disabled girls, in-school girls, to train them about their sexual reproductive health and their personal hygiene. I'm working with my mentor. She's called Sonia Giwe. She's working for UNFPA. She's the gender representative at the UNFPA. She's my mentor. I'm working with her and also with the National Commission for Persons with Disability. I'll be doing my first training. That is one. I'm not going to target myself to Freetown because Freetown is not Sierra Leone. After my first training, I also want to launch my organization to have a national face. From there, I'll take it to the region because there are more vulnerable disabled girls in the region than Freetown.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. And Monica, continue to stay with us. When you come back, you're going to share with us 3 principles or 3 things that have really brought you this far. This is On the Spot, and it's all against the odds. Succeeding against the odds. We'll take a break and we'll be back.
Domestic revenue mobilization is a key instrument for the government of Sierra Leone in reducing poverty, increasing financial independence, achieving middle-income status, and charting the path for new directions. From supporting the free quality education, good roads, healthcare, electricity, and more.
Domestic revenue mobilization is very critical when it comes to national development.
Through the Asikoda World, we have developed beautiful management tools. We have also developed systems in which it will bring transparency and help to the importer, to the broker.
iTax is a platform for all your domestic taxes. The electronic cash register system is the game changer.
Let's support government by paying our taxes. For more information, visit the nearest NRA office or log on to our website www.nra.gov.sl.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Abu. I am calling for your rental tax payment.
Oh my goodness.
Hello? This is a call from the...
Your colleague is on the other line. Can you just please hold?
You are a landlord or property agent? You don't hear about rental income tax? As property owner or agent where they collect rent, the law say you for pay tax and you tax identification number where they call team you they use for pay am.
Yes, me fumble them. The law say without this tax identification number, you not go able to pay your tax. And if you not pay your tax, the law go bet you tranga one. Welcome, sir. Please sit.
Thank you.
We don't make them easy for you now. The law say, since you the collect rent we pass 7.2 million leons, you for come to NRA and pay your rental tax just after we you tenants don't pay you done.
So no more calls from everywhere.
You go just get one SMS or one phone call. We go remind you, sir.
Thank you very much.
For no more, go to any NRA office near you or visit www.nra.gov.sl.
Remember, paying taxes is required by law.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, you are late, but you are still in time or on time to catch Monica's 3 guiding principles that have kept her, pushed her, supported her through life to get her to where she is today. So Monica, what are those 3 things you're going to leave the public or the viewers with?
3 things I always say is, 1, know who you are, know your value, and know the purpose of your existence. That is what I always tell people. 1, who you are. This is me. I am Monica. I was not born blind, and now I am blind. This is me. I've accepted my situation as I am. My values, what I stand for, what Monica stands for. When they say Monica, they say, oh, inclusion. She's fighting for disability rights. She's fighting for inclusion. She's fighting for the voice of the disabled to be heard. She's fighting for women and girls with disability empowerment. Know your value and your purpose. What kind of change, what kind of impact you want to create in society. What you want people to remember, your legacy that you want to leave. Having these 3 things in mind, you will always get where you want to get to. That is what I always tell people. Know who you are first, your value and your purpose. Monica said here, during the housemate campaign, I was known for 3 B's. I always tell people, I am blind, bold, and brilliant. But these are my 3 values. I know who I am, my values, and my purpose. So that is the 3 things I want people to know. Identify who you are. Identify your value and your purpose of existence. Trust me,
so much.
you'll be where you want to be.
Thank you so much. And Monica, the sky is not even the limit. The sky is the beginning point for you.
Sure, thank
You're an
you.
inspiration to so many people, including myself. I remember when I watched your audition and all I could think about was, how is it possible? How would she manage in the house? And I'm so happy that I can proudly say that you proved me wrong. You proved Sarah Lynn wrong. And you proved the world wrong. And indeed reiterated that there is ability in disability. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Monica.
You're most welcome.
And coming up are my final words. In my final words, a dream does not become a reality by magic, neither is success by accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, and sacrifice. Life will never be perfect, and there will be moments where all the odds will be against you and your chips will be down. In that moment, you must be ready to fight. Fight to break the cycle. Be the change and achieve your success, irrespective of who you are, where you are, or the circumstances you find yourself in. Ultimately, it is your hunger to succeed, backed with consistent, tangible actions, that will define your level of greatness and success. Thanks for watching tonight's episodes. Share your thoughts on the show on our Facebook page, and do connect with me on my various social media handles. Find us on www.onthespotwithstella.com. We'll be back next week, but till then, stay fabulous.